The studio was still, but not for long. Karoline Leavitt adjusted the mic on her blazer, eyes locked straight ahead. Across from her sat Congressman Adam Schiff, composed as usual, hands folded on the table. The set was sleek, designed for polished interviews, not political confrontations. But tonight wouldn't follow the usual script. This wasn't going to be polite. This wasn't a media-friendly Q&A. It was a long-awaited reckoning. Congressman Schiff, Karoline began, her tone even but sharp. For years, you appeared on television, promising evidence. You claimed proof of collusion, of betrayal, of secrets hidden from the public. Schiff didn't react. You went on every network, wrote op-eds, pushed narratives. She continued. But when the investigations ended, there was nothing. No convictions, no charges, just noise. Schiff offered a calm smile. Ms. Leavitt, the work we do in Congress. She interrupted him. Not this time. You don't get to deflect behind committees or redacted memos anymore. You misled the American people. I'm here to remind them. The live light turned red. They were on air. Schiff's smile faded. Karoline leaned forward, her voice steady. Why push a story you couldn't prove? Was it politics, ego, or did you believe no one would hold you responsible? The studio went silent. Schiff looked briefly, caught off guard. Millions leaned in, phones recording, waiting for his answer. Karoline wasn't done. You built your image on fear, she said. Fear of foreign enemies, of corruption, of democracy falling apart unless people listened to you. And for a while, it worked. Schiff sat up straighter. I did what was necessary to protect our institutions. When intelligence suggests danger, we have a responsibility. Karoline gave a faint laugh. Congressman, your responsibility was to the truth. And when that truth didn't match your narrative, you buried it under headlines and hearings. Live chat feeds exploded. Hashtags began trending. This wasn't a normal interview. It was turning into an event. Schiff answered carefully. Intelligence community does not operate on partisan bias. My actions were in the interest of national security. It's been why, Karoline asked. Do so many Americans feel betrayed? Why is trust in Congress, the media and government, so low? You didn't expose corruption. You became part of it. Sound tech adjusted levels. The studio wasn't just tense, it was electric. Even producers behind the glass were frozen, watching. People are tired, she continued. It's tired of being misled. It's tired of being pawns in narratives crafted by those in power. You didn't warn them. You used their fear. Schiff now sat with the look of someone realizing the ground beneath him was less stable than he thought. Karoline stayed steady. This was only the beginning. He shifted, buying time. Ms. Leavitt, your accusations are dramatic, but they lack depth. Our decisions were guided by our intelligence community's input. Input, she asked. You mean leaked sound bites, cherry-picked memos, and carefully shaped headlines. That's not national security. That's narrative control. The audience watching from the other side of the glass didn't move. You walked out of private hearings with vague statements, knowing most people would never see the full context. You let innuendo do the damage. Schiff's voice grew tight. What would you have had us do stand by while foreign threats grew stronger? I would have preferred honesty, she said. So we don't know yet, instead of pretending. You had the facts. Lead with transparency, not spin. The lights flickered as producers scrambled. Twitter clips were already being edited mid-broadcast. Karoline pressed harder. You said you were defending democracy. But really, you were defending a story. Your airtime, your control of the message. Schiff clenched his jaw. This wasn't just a challenge to his career, it was a live rewriting of it, and the country was watching. He tried again. Ms. Leavitt, facing threats is complex. Think it's as easy as speaking into a mic. I know it's more complex, she said, because I've been listening to real Americans, not sitting in bubbles of handlers and headlines. You turned patriotism into performance, she said. Every hearing, a stage. And you, its lead actor, is trying to pivot. Schiff replied, so now I'm guilty of popularizing accountability. She looked him in the eye. You lied to Congress, to the press, and most importantly, to the American people. That silenced him. Outside, hashtags like hashtag Leavitt vs. Schiff and hashtag truth over titles exploded. Viewers didn't see an interview. They saw a reckoning. You said history would judge you, Karoline continued. Well, it's watching now. He opened his mouth, then paused. It's easy to criticize, Miss Leavitt, he said, but you haven't been in those intelligence briefings. I'm not throwing stones, she answered. I'm holding up a mirror. Her voice softened not kindly, but with gravity. You built a story around fear. You stirred emotion. You forgot fear fades. Truth doesn't. I did what I thought was right, Schiff said. And that's the issue, she replied. You believed your agenda justified bending the facts. You created the story first, then hoped the truth would catch up. One editor mouthed from the booth, this is unreal. Millions weren't just watching, they were choosing sides. You called for trust, she continued, but never gave transparency. You demanded accountability without ever showing remorse. That's a mischaracterization, Schiff said. You controlled the questions, the leaks, the media, she replied. And now that someone's asking questions, you call it unfair. There was a long pause, shift in his expression. Not a rebuttal, just realization. You didn't just mislead, she said. You manipulated. And tonight, you won't walk away with applause. Walk away with truth. As another segment approached, producers could barely keep up. Phones were blowing up. Every outlet wanted the clip. This was inspiring, it was exposure. When they returned from break, Schiff looked different, defensive, stiff. He wasn't leading anymore. He was trying to keep up. You had a platform, she said. You could have helped unify the country. Instead, you raised the volume and blamed the echo. You think it's easy? He shot back. You think sitting through classified briefings is simple? No, but using that access for media gain is unforgivable, she replied. You didn't seek truth, she said. You sought impact. And when that impact didn't match reality, you pivoted to the next distraction. Schiff had no comeback. Karoline landed the final blow. Your legacy isn't oversight, it's overreach. The camera zoomed out. Two figures, one sharp and focused, the other visibly dimmed. You talk about duty, she added. Doesn't mean performing, it means listening, owning mistakes, acting with humility. You weren't elected to be a performer. You were elected to serve. Somewhere along the way, you forgot that. She paused. Credibility isn't claimed, it's earned. It's what you do when no one's watching, not what you say when the lights are on. Schiff blinked quickly. No staff, no teleprompter, just reality. You wanted to be remembered for courage, she said, but history remembers the truth. From tonight, the full version starts being told. The host finally spoke. Well, that concludes our segment. But it didn't. The moment was already immortalized. Outside, America wasn't waiting for summaries. Karoline Leavitt didn't real time. Karoline Leavitt didn't just challenge a congressman. She challenged a system. And Schiff, he didn't face an interviewer, he faced accountability. Because at the end of the day, truth doesn't need permission. It just needs someone brave enough to say it out loud.